Can you hear? Anybody can hear me? First live is always first live. I have no idea. It says I'm live. Can you hear? Hey, can you hear me? So I might need to get a microphone. Okay, so I'm guessing that my microphone is going to be on my headset. So how about this? Is this better? Maybe if I put it down here. I'm going to have to get a microphone. That's all there is to it. Okay, perfect. Thanks. Hello, Perfect Storm. I'm glad that you're here. You're my only viewer, but that's okay. Um, okay, so really what I wanted to come on here for today is obviously Summer Wells, right? My whole thing with Summer Wells, the reason why I am so keen on finding her and finding the answers to where she is, if she's alive, if the parents had anything to do with this, is obviously because I came from an extremely broken family. I've never had we've never been taken by CPS. We have never, obviously, none of us have been killed. I'm here, you know. Um, but it breaks my heart, obviously. You know, she's 5 years old. They have us looking for a toddler. So these are huge red flags to me. You know, if my daughter went missing and I'm calling 911, I'm not going to say that she may or may not have long hair. I may or may not have buzz cutted it. She went missing in a tracksuit, but now her clothes have changed. And now with grandma's story coming out and stuff, I'm just so, I just don't know, you guys. So my thing is like, what really happened to Summer, right? Um, I don't know. I don't know where the new Perfect Storm. Have you seen the new interview with Grandma? I've gotten third party from it. I've heard, uh, I mean, it's all over. It came out yesterday, I guess, and I was stuck on the Mary interview, so I haven't heard anything about the new grandma story. But if what grandma is saying is true, right, which they're all liars, we've already figured that one out. They are all liars. So if grandma is being honest here and she went home, oh, okay, so it was the friend, not actually grandma, because grandma's saying that she went home and went to sleep and never seen Summer after that. So that's where I'm confused because I have not heard this new interview with grandma or the third party, whatever. But if what she's I mean, what she's saying sounds pretty logical, right? She went home after being at the doctor's, being on her knee all day. If her knee is really bothering her, so why would you be planting flowers? Why would you be out swimming? Why would you be running around, running errands, going grocery shopping, all this stuff if you're not feeling well, right? So, I mean, her story sounds pretty logical. Go home to go take a nap. She goes to meet up with dad, which the time, because if you're coming up Ben Road, instead of making that right, what is that on Lone Star or is that Lone Star? So if you make a right, you're going to go up to Ben Hill Road where they live. But if you go left, it's going to take you straight out to Jonesboro. So it sounds right. You know what I mean? Like, take grandma home. She goes to bed. She goes to meet up with Dawn. Summer obviously had a bad day at the swim hole, being neglected. So maybe they did do something with that little girl. I wanted to say that she was sold, which I don't want to put that in my mind. Obviously, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to bring up Mary and Jeannie because those type of talks are just, I mean, they're triggers for me. One, but I do have a baby in the house, so certain things we're just not going to go there. I'm not going to entertain it, but I do believe that they probably did beat her to death, or she had an accident, or what if, what if Candace is sleeping with H and they're at the swim hole sleeping around, messing around, doing whatever. Grandma's up in the truck doing her phone card, right? And then Candace and H are over here doing whatever. Summer sees, and guess who she's going to run back and tell? Daddy. And then what's going to happen? So how do you keep her quiet? Drug her? Bury her? I mean, I don't even want to think like that, you know what I mean? But we have to think logical here. This whole family is twisted on both sides. This whole family is twisted. So, I mean, we just need to be really logical. Like, she came from abuse. And then, see, in that, one of my last videos, I had put on there that I entirely blame CPS. If CPS has been called to this home on multiple occasions, whether they answered the door or not, you need to call the law enforcement and bring CPS and remove the damn kids from the home. They're only going to duck and dodge if they're doing something wrong and they don't want to be caught. Right? So as a CPS worker, you failed. You failed to protect those children. But honestly, like, I know, one, Candace didn't want Dawn to beat her up. But they all seem to like little kids. Why would you take a 15-year-old boy to go party at the swim hole when you and the mom used to be friends but hadn't been friends for 9 months? What are you doing with a 15-year-old boy? Period. So do I believe that she was messing around with H? Absolutely. Sure do. Do I believe that Summer seen stuff that she probably shouldn't have? Absolutely. On multiple occasions, not just from Candace and H, but from Dawn and Candace and whoever else was involved with those situations. I mean, this whole thing is so bizarre on both sides of the family. And then Allie coaching Hunter, H, whatever, we already know who he is. He's not an innocent, so Hunter. Yeah, and then they didn't take any of the other kids and then lied that the other kids were there. But apparently that video was from another day. You know what I mean? So it's just, I mean, all of their stories are completely wrong. And Dawn has this so alibied, so entirely alibied. You know, and it's always been about the boys. When they're talking about Summer, they don't use her name. They use past tense when talking. There is already a disconnection with this little girl. Whether it's because mom is jealous or because she wasn't getting the same kind of attention. That's why that little girl's head was shaved. Because how dare you look at her and not look at me the same way? Just saying. Because her hair was the shortest out of everybody in the house. Her hair was absolutely the shortest out of everybody in that house. And all their photo ops. And that's why I went with maybe she was sold. Maybe this is trafficking. Because maybe they do need money. Maybe they are trying to find a way to get people to feel sorry for them or whatever, a staged kidnapping, whatever. I mean, I wanted to go with that. You know what I mean? But now it's like, did they physically, emotionally, everything abuse this little girl? And she just couldn't handle it anymore. You know, she was tired. I mean, that last picture, she just didn't look very well. That doesn't look like just a sleeping child to me. It just doesn't. And do I believe that if Summer was really ill, did Don have his last time with her? I do. I honestly do. And I told you I didn't want to think like that. But I honestly, in my whole heart, believe that that little girl was abused in more ways than we want to think about. I honestly do believe that. I do believe that she was beat and tortured by her mother, because CANDUS just looks like that kind of person. And my thing is how come these kids went so unnoticed for 12 years? If Don tried selling his kids, CANDUS lost her oldest 2 kids, you know what I mean? Where is the system working? Did they take parenting classes? Has any of them ever been in rehab or suggested to rehab or anything like that? I mean, we just heard Mary telling us about Don's past. Apparently he's into horse tranquilizers and stuff, you know what I mean? So has anybody ever brought that to the attention of the state? I'm a state worker. I'm a state mandator. What, baby? Oh, you've seen me on the camera, huh? So I just want to know why. How did CPS fail so hard? Yeah, I believe that too, Perfect Storm. Absolutely. I believe, but both of these parents are entirely guilty. Both of them. And I do believe that whether they're both involved with her disappearance or one of them is 100% involved, the other one knows about it because it's going to be a blackmail situation. Well, if you tell on me, I'm going to tell on you. And we're both going to go down. So we got to protect each other. And that's why Grandma got out of Dodge. Because loose lips slip. You can only handle so much. I mean, she's older. And I don't feel bad for her. If she has anything to do with this or Rose Blythe's disappearance, I do not feel bad if she ends up in prison. Because I honestly do believe that she also knows where her daughter is. Period. I do not feel bad. She's been protecting her brother who just got out of prison. You know what I mean? What has he done to her children? And she did nothing for her children. She doesn't know how to protect kids. CANDUS doesn't know how to protect her kids. Don doesn't know how to protect his kids. None of them should have kids. None of them. They shouldn't even have animals on the property. If you can't feed and take care of your children, how are you going to feed and take care of animals? Just say it. Just say it. So there's just a lot to this story that just really has me going, like, the wheels are really turning, because I wanted to believe in the parents. I mean, I'm sure that if you guys go back on my videos, you'll see I didn't want to point fingers. I didn't want to accuse anybody of anything, because who wants to think of a parent hurting such an innocent little child? But it happens. And it's sad, because there are people like me who would gladly open my door and my home to any child. I don't care how old they are. I don't care what kind of problems that they have. I don't care what kind of families that they came from. I don't care about their backgrounds, because they're children. We can fix that with love. Children are fixable with love. Yeah, I don't believe that there was no dogs there. No. Okay, I've said this too. I've lived in the most ruralest of areas. I live in a very rural area right now. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It's fine. It's quiet. It's peaceful. We don't have people disappearing. We don't have people being murdered. We don't have any of this nonsense happening. You know what I mean? So when I lived up in the mountains, I legit lived in the mountains, like more mountainy than where the wells are located. Okay. Like we had bears running through our yard, climbing our telephone poles. I had mountain lions sitting on my front porch. I've had raccoons sitting there hanging out, like, hello, here we are. You know what I mean? Do you need a new pet? Not really, you know? Very, very rural, very, very wild areas. Okay, very wild animals, the most ruralest. I mean, we encountered a minx, and we had to get the minx off the dog. You know what I mean? So I know very well about rural areas. And my dogs used to actually get out of the yard and they would go swimming or, you know, go up to the forest and go do their little runs and stuff, and no big deal. But would they be gone for hours at a time? No. No. If my dogs were gone for hours at a time, I'm going to assume that the wild animal got them. I'm going to be out looking for them. Where's my dogs? Where, you know what I mean? I've lost cats because of these wild animals. A lot of things. So I do not believe that all of those dogs were gone. And then in the pictures with the searchers there on the same day on June 15th, I seen the dogs there. I seen that pregnant dog. And then I don't know if that was a cadaver dog or not that was lifting his leg and hiking, you know what I mean? But I seen dogs there. And Candace got mad that they brought their dogs because she told them that she had dogs there and didn't want their dogs on her property. She did say that. She was pretty upset about it because she did not want those dogs around her dogs because she didn't know how they were going to react. Dogs are friendly, yeah, but I mean, if you have a sense of adrenaline, or I can't even play with my kid because my dogs go crazy. They think that she's getting hurt and stuff, you know what I mean? So they sense any type of fear or adrenaline on my child and stuff, and my dogs would attack me. You know what I mean? They're going to protect that baby. So I don't believe that the dogs were gone. I don't. Puppies and kittens, yeah. They had them all, 17 plus dogs or something like that, and then litters of cats, and they're just all gone. They're just all gone. I think that they took Lucky. I think that when we find Summer, we will find Lucky. Lucky is with her. That's the one thing that they did as parents, is make sure that she wasn't alone. I honestly do believe that Lucky is with her because they talk about Lucky in past tense too, and Lucky is the only dog on that property that has a name and had an owner, and it was Summer's dog. So I do think that Lucky is with her. And you're not going to kidnap a kid and the dog too. So that's the parents. Trump mug, y'all. Yeah, I just don't see how it's just not possible. It's not plausible. And a kidnapping, like abduction, we'll just entertain that for a second. Okay, I'm going to put myself as a kidnapper. Okay, I've never really enact this before because it's never crossed my mind to be a kidnapper. But okay, so here I am. Creep, 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 creep up this hill. Thank you, Perfect Storm. My mom got it for me for my birthday. Okay, so yeah, I'm a smoker. So if I was a kidnapper, I would have already been dead. I couldn't even make it up the hill without dying, right? First of all, so I'm a kidnapper and I'm hiding out. Oh, there's grandma over there. There's mom. Oh, I think I hear boys. Oh, a little girl. I'm just going to go in and grab her. What? With adults and kids everywhere, there's 3, 4, 5 other people on the property. If you don't include Dawn, which I do believe that Dawn was there too, but okay. Or they met up with Dawn. one or the other, but there's 5 people on the property. And as a kidnapper, am I taking that chance of being caught, or this little girl making a noise that either the dogs or the grandma or the mom or the one of the brothers might hear her? And then they use this whole, okay, I like cracking cases, nothing against them, okay? But if you're putting a 35-pound bag of dog food on your back or your shoulders to run down this hill with it, right? There's no track marks, there's no foot marks, there's no adrenaline smell. They smell nothing. They smell nothing. You're not going to sit here and tell me that there would be no sign of somebody running through the rubbish down there. You've got metal junk piles everywhere. You've got broken down cars everywhere. Tell me how this person was so smart and so quiet that they were able to creep around and grab this child. You don't hear any twigs breaking. You don't hear any leaves crackling. You don't hear anything, but you're outside. It's a rural area, so even the footsteps are gonna echo. Even your footsteps would echo. I live in a rural area. You know what I mean? Especially in the mornings. I go outside and have my coffee in the morning and stuff, and I can hear myself walking all the way over to the other side of the property. It echoes. You're going to hear something. Right, that never happened. There was never an abduction. That was all a hoax. Just like the fake, I'm going to jail, the mafia is beating him up, and hoax. They're so good at doing hoax. They're so well at lying. They're so well at storytelling. Because it's what they've done their whole lives. Their entire lives. And I feel so bad for these boys. Because can you imagine the mental torment that they have to suffer with for the rest of their lives now? 12 years of abuse, 12 years of living under that house, within that home, and then knowing, I'm sure that they know what happened to that little girl, or have an idea. Overheard something or seen something that wasn't right, you know what I mean? So I feel extremely bad for the kids. You know what I mean? It's just, I know this is not an abduction. So now we're left with trafficking, and we're left with the parents. I'm going with the parents. And they're still getting away with it. And they're still getting away with it. They have all these charges. Both of the parents have all these charges pending against them. And I'm guaranteeing you that TBI and Hawkins County has not pushed an arrest or charges yet, for the simple fact that they're not going to be able to get anybody else, and they're not going to be able to piece the pieces together because they talk too much and they're stupid. So if they arrest them now, they're done. The case is over. And that's what's a shame, you know what I mean? Because we want instant gratification. We are Americans. We want to see these parents in jail for not just the disappearance of Summer, but for the abuse on these other children, for the way that they were living, contributing to minors, being with minors. The list goes on. The list goes on the charges on both of these parents. And even grandma, let's just throw her in there, because that's 12 years of you watching and knowing what happened and what's been going on inside that home, and you have done nothing to protect your grandchildren or put a stop to this. So they're all guilty. They should all be in jail. They should all be locked away. Throw the fucking key away. Excuse my language, but it is what it is, right? They're all guilty. And they're going to keep getting away with it. But I mean, I honestly do believe that that's why they're not arrested yet. Because Don is still in communication with whoever helped him, or maybe the drugs or the trafficking or whatever, you know, and then they still have to build their little case against the SA for the Utah thing. So, I mean, it's like, what's more important right now? And I'm sure that TBI is saying, finding Summer is quite important. We can get murder charges on somebody without a body if we have the proper evidence and stuff, and we have like people like Cher and Prairie Boy not contaminating the whole case. You know what I mean? Like, keep going off your show. But they're gonna catch not only Dawn, Candace, and Grandus. They're going to take down more people, and that's how I feel, and that's exactly how I see this happening. Because why else are they not arresting them? They have more than enough to go off of, right? But it also doesn't help when you have people throwing this and that in there. And I mean, and now, like I said, look at Dawn's past. And we haven't even fully dug into Candace's because Dawn is keeping her in the back so that she doesn't freaking say nothing. Because why is the mom not going out and pleading for her daughter, pleading for her return? How come the mom, it took her 2 weeks to come onto camera. And then she's only talked to Chris aside the news station and has been quiet since. Been quiet since. See, and that's what I'm saying too, because the whole thing was a lie about how it played out. Because Grandma is saying that she wasn't feeling well and she went home for a nap, and then Candace left with Summer and they never seen her again. And the knee brace thing, okay, they're not going to send a knee brace to the pharmacy and they're not going to have a knee brace for the size of somebody sitting there. Period. The only thing, like if you got hurt with your knee and you went to the emergency room, they might wrap it with an ACE bandage and say, go see your primary care doctor. Or, you know, I'm going to put in a prescription or a referral for this brace. And then you have to go see the orthopedic to have it put on to make sure that it's the correct size and that it's what's going to work for that condition or that issue. I've been through it. I've been through collar braces, back braces, knee braces, hand braces. I crushed my wrist. I have a nice, good scar going all the way down. You know what I mean? Been there, done that. They don't just hand them out. So either she already had the knee brace or she hadn't picked it up yet. So yeah, I do not believe that Candace was helping her with anything. And why would Grandma, if Grandma can move totes, Grandma can get in and out of her truck by herself, Grandma can drive across states, why can't Grandma put on her own knee brace? So I already knew that one was just another hoax. Another, let's just throw that in there to, you know, buy time. So that we aren't being caught that, you know, she's been missing for 3 hours instead of 15 minutes. And then the original police report online, it says that she went missing around 6:30. But Candace calls the police at 6:23. But before that, she had to have called Dawn. Because she called Dawn first. And then had to have time to throw the phone into the truck and then run over to Grandma's to use the damn phone. When you could just push your phone onto lock and then use emergency call to call 911. Any phone calls 911. But you left the kids there without any way of calling 911. Like, and then he slipped up too. I don't know if anybody caught that, but Don slipped up because he said originally that he had to put his, no, he didn't slip up. He didn't say truck. He said that he had to put his tools in the vehicle. But he didn't say in the car or in the truck. Because naturally, I mean, if I'm like, oh, I have to go put my car or my groceries in the car real quick. Now I have a Jeep, so it's more like a compact SUV, whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to go into details. You know, I got to go get my groceries out of my 2018 Jeep. It's orange, and you know, this is how it runs. And I put $30 in gas this morning. And unnecessary information. But he said vehicle because he didn't want to slip up and say truck. Because I think that he switched vehicles that day. Or he specifically took the Subaru because he already knew what the plan was because it was premeditated. If it wasn't, then damn, they're good. I honestly do. I mean, I think that if she was killed by the parents, it was premeditated because school was getting ready to start. They didn't want her talking about anything. They didn't want to be out on what she did and or what she knew, what was going on at home. So they had to get rid of her. They had to get rid of her. And she was the only little girl. She was disposable to them. Candace never wanted a little girl. So she was very disposable to Candace. There is already a detachment. Dawn told us about the detachment from birth. From birth. Summer and her mother had no parental bond. There was no bonding. She was very disposable to this family. Just like Rose Bly. I know that these cases are not the same, but they are so close to being, I don't know. It's not a coincidence to me that two family members just vanished without a trace. Has it been heard of? Probably. Different circumstances and stuff, but two family members to vanish without a trace. And you're going to tell me that Candace and Dawn had nothing to do with Rose Bly's disappearance. I think that Dawn wanted Rose. And that wasn't happening. And Candace got jealous that Dawn was looking at Rose. So they planned to get rid of her, to get her out of the way. I honestly do believe that who is involved with Summer's disappearance is involved with Rose Bly's disappearance as well. I honestly do believe that. I'm not going to change my mind on that because it's just too much of a coincidence. And that's just how it is. There is more that I wanted to talk about. I don't have my my notes or anything because obviously I had the worst time getting on live today. I couldn't get my only Summer and Dawn's name. You know that Candace has a face or a YouTube that she put up a couple years ago about a goodbye song. So I wonder if this has been planned and it just finally happened. Now is the time. Yeah, that's weird. Oh, her date of birth. Oh, that is really weird. Because none of the other kids. Because I haven't seen like her tattoos and stuff. The Playboy bunny and that right there tells a lot about somebody. I know back in the day that used to be the thing. Playboy bunnies were the thing. You know what I mean? Everybody wanted a Playboy bunny on them. But when I was born and raised in Sacramento, California. So when I seen somebody with a Playboy bunny on them, I'm like, oh yeah, she works the streets. He's the pimp. She works the streets. You know what I mean? If a man had a Playboy bunny, it's usually because he was trafficking somebody. If a woman had a Playboy bunny, it was usually because she was trafficking. Or willingly out there doing whatever. You know what I mean? So, see, and that's weird. I think that I honestly do believe this is all premeditated. I do not believe that she ever wanted Summer. And it was just bound to happen. Oh yeah, I remember that prayer circle, that visual. I actually do. She had grandma on the phone, like face out, and she kept turning the phone to see grandma on the phone. I do remember that. See, and I wasn't paying attention to her body because, I wasn't seeing the track marks like I do on Dawn, so. I was like, well, there's that going for Candace. You know what I mean? She's obviously a glasser. We'll just leave it at that. She's a glasser. That's why all of her front teeth are fudged. Duh. Ugh, I almost used the F word, you guys. Oh, man. But that's why, because she's a glasser. Oh, man. So I wasn't looking at her body because I was like, she looks pretty healthy. You know what I mean? But obviously she was eating and the kids weren't, you know. So I'll just leave it at that because, I mean, horse tranquilizers, glass pipes, needles, and I mean, it's too much. It's just too much. Running coke and, did they have marijuana or coke in their system, or was it horse tranquilizers? We don't know. We don't know. We just don't know anymore. Obviously, they're on a good one, though. And they're still on a good one because they're just having a freaking grand old time. Kid-free, partying in the home and making prank calls and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, they're having the best time of their life. How do they even have so much time? Don't they have jobs? Oh, Dawn. But, I mean, come on. Don't you have mounds of laundry to do, or maybe a house to clean up, or some kids to try and see? You know what I mean? Parenting classes, rehab. You don't have anything better to do with your freaking life? Find your kid. Like, start with that. Find your kid. Where is she? Be honest, you guys. Dawn, Candace, where is Summer? Oh, I'm sure he did lose his job. Somebody that high as a freaking kite, and then, you know what I mean? You got people like, I mean, if I was his boss, I'm like, all the signs point to you and your wife did something with your child. I don't want you here. I don't want you working on homes. I don't want you having addresses to people's homes. You're gone. You're gone. It's not about death threats to his boss. His boss had nothing to do with any of this. It's because he's a lop. He's a low-ordered person. I wouldn't want a piece of shit like that working for me either. You blamed your 5-year-old sister for what you did to her? You're fired. That's just me. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just me. Like, yeah, I wouldn't be paying him either. I'd pay you with a piece of fucking dirt. Might not want to give him that. It might incite him to go and bury somebody else. You know what I mean? God. This is like, this whole thing is so bizarre, you guys. It's just bizarre. It really is. Like, yes, exactly. Like, hey, Dawn, I got 2 of them for you. You know what I mean? If I allowed my little girl to do it, she'd have a few for you too, because you'd be like, you know, but I don't want Dawn seeing my child. Nope. Nobody. If she comes on here, I'm just going to blur her out because I'm like, Dawn alert, Dawn alert. You know what I mean? Like, he might freaking find me because of my kid. Like, look at that one. Ah! No. 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 Dawn's what a creeper. He is. He's a creeper, huh? We don't like creepers around. No. What are you having, muffins? There you go. The other muffins are good. Awesome. But yeah, All right, you guys. I know this is kind of a short live. It was my first run. I kind of had fun with this. The next time I do come on, I will actually have my notes. I actually have like a whole page of something. It's like 17 pages long on some of my red flags and the notes, and then these new interviews that came out. And like, I'm still stuck on horse tranquilizers. Just saying. Like, I've never in my life thought about it. Like, well, I don't think about drugs, so say no to drugs, kids. You might end up in the vet with the horse tranquilizer, you know? So just saying, stay away from drugs, you know? Like, love your life. And like I said from the beginning, this whole thing, this is all about Summer Wells. We need to find her. We need to bring her home. We need to figure out what's happened to her. We need to bring her justice. And that's all that matters. Don't care about nothing else. I care about Summer. I care about her well-being. I care about finding her and bringing her justice. And continuing to stay away from horse tranquilizers. Boom. Thanks, guys. See you later.